See if I can manage this. Okay, it seems that pointing upwards works. One more year here is a pleasure for me to have the opportunity to tell you about our projects that we are involved in. As you know, CIEMAT is a research center, so our projects are going to be related to the presentations of new developments, new researches that we carry out in relation to biogas, syngas, methane, hydrogen, synthesis gas, sorry. So in this case, I want to talk about the results from some of the results we are obtaining from a project financed by the Innovation and Research Ministry, which is the Descartes Silco Waste Descartes project. With this project, we wanted to have a circular economy from waste. From that waste, we obtained, some products to treat water and to treat biogas. To develop novel new products to be related to those processes. This absorbing material, we had to have absorbing materials, active coal, and polymers through the pyrolysis. I'm sure the vast majority of you are familiar with pyrolysis. This is a thermal decomposition process without oxygen that breaks, the structures, biofuels, the cellulose, lignin, and their smaller components. You can obtain liquids, gases, fluids, gases, and in our case, because we want to maximize the solid production, we want to do with this so-called slow pyrolysis, slow to maximize the solid production. In this way, we obtain a byproduct, a secondary raw materials, which is called char. From that, we can generate the polymers and the active carbons.
Se seleccionaron distintas materias primas, distintos residuos.
So residues or waste that are difficult to have this valorization, Some of them are being named here, such as digestate, the sludge from the water treatment plant, the compost, and the solid urban waste, and other ones. In this case, what we did was in the case of CIEMAT, this is a project. This coordinated with the Complutense University of Madrid and CIEMAT. CIEMAT developed a process pyrolysis process. We obtained the carbon-based project and then the active carbon. The type of we carry out two-scale pyrolysis, the lab-scale pyrolysis with our own facilities in CIEMAT, which is called Pyrola. This is these are pistachio shells for the pyrolysis, and then a bigger scale, pilot scale, in collaboration with Solinter company, we carry out, another pyrolysis with urban solid waste. We have biochar, and it was prepared to obtain some active carbons. We did it in two different ways, the physical with the nitrogen CO2 current and the chemical process with hydroxy potassic elements. The obtained biochar was applied to the treatment of two very interesting components when it comes to biogas: the removal of the CO2 capture and the removal of the sulfuric. In our CIEMAT facilities, we did it in our CIEMAT facilities. Of course, the results were published because we are research centers who agree. A large part of our we are mainly based to focus on research. So without going into detail, because we don't want to carry away. Through those treatments, activation treatments, the biochar through pyrolysis the activation treatment of biochar with a physical and chemical process, we were able to improve the specific area of the absorbing elements. This is a parameter which is quite related to the capture capacity. You can see it here in the image at the right, how, as you increase the specific area, the capacity of CO2 capture also increase in a large amount. We found out that we studied how the CO2 content, which is in the biogas, affects, the capture capacity. That's what is in this presentation on the right. And the graphic on the right. The capture process, as you've seen in the previous slide, it reaches a point, the saturation point, during which after many cycles, so that absorbing element has to be regenerated with a thermal process. So we were able to have cinetic models which help us to carry out the reactors design layout. That is what is represented on the graphic on the right, the different cinetic models, the primary order, the first order, second order, the different bioabsorbing elements being prepared, so that we were able afterwards with those cinetic models to design the reactors. Leaving aside the CO2 capture, we also applied bioabsorbing elements to the desulfuring process, the removal of sulfuric. In the case of biogas, the removal of sulfuric is made on site in the digester itself, but sometimes it is necessary to do it, downstream. So we created a current synthetic with 100 ppm of sulfuric, and we studied the rupture curves. So we realized the absorbing elements with a chemical activation had a better results than those with the physical activation. We also realized that the sulfuric removal, the content of humidity or moisture was a very important parameter. We also realized that if the gas has some humidity content, the sulfurification was a little bit harder. So in order to remove this. As a result, detailed results are available in the article. There is an open access article, so you can check them. And now I will present the results, introduce the results we are obtaining with the urban solid residues or waste. This is a different story, different case, of course. When it comes to pistachio shell, the biochar was a stable biochar, homogeneous biochar with a fixed composition, with a good carbon content, determined carbon content with a reproducible results. When it comes to solid urban waste, the content of metals inside is huge. Those metals stay with the biochar, with the ashes. So it is necessary to go through a removal phase to remove the ashes or a washing process. We opted for the washing process of the biochar to remove the vast majority of calcium or, for example, silicium, etc. So all those elements were in the solid urban waste that were not considered at the beginning are switched to the biochar, and then you can see the chaotic results on the graphic on the right, where the rupture curves, desulfuration were studied. Curves were studied, from the solid urban solid waste. So these are different data, and we are processing this data. By the way, we carry out different processes with the chlorine washing and then some physical and chemical activation. And to finish off, I will also tell you what is our current situation. We are studying and observing absorbing elements. Also, the next project that we are working is the so-called CAST V. It's being developed with circular absorbing elements from waste, but improving or adding new technologies. Not only pyrolysis that applies to dry waste, but also hydrothermal technologies, which are more suitable for high content of moisture waste, such as compost or biostabilizer. We wrote a poster with details, so I invited to go to see all the details in the poster. And just in case, and after many different times that we came here, I will tell you CIEMAT is the Energy Environmental Technology Research Center divided in different departments. I come from the energy department that tackles the different renewable energies, solar power, sun power, oil, biomass, bioenergy, waste, hydrogen. More specifically, I lead the gasification combustion unit. We work in 3 different technological scientific lines. Storage, chemical storage, energy and technology, hydrogen technology. And another division, then we have this another division, thermochemical, sustainable thermochemical division. The one that I represent, which is that we work in thermochemical conversion of waste and upgrading of different products. Then the other one is the one related to the electrochemical, chemical and hydrogen unit, and another one of modeling, a modeling unit. If you want to know more about it and what are we doing, you can come with us. You can come and ask us. Just to finish. And as a conclusion, one more year, I would like to remind you that CIEMAT, works on this thermochemical process sustainable. One of these is the treatment, upgrading of the different products that we want to do it. We work on based on these chemical products to use these products and other processes. This presentation, we work with these absorbing elements to capture CO2. We also have installations at laboratory scale, also pilot scale. We work on this project, but also another project, Bio-Adsorbents or VH2, etc. And as always, we are very much happy to answer questions or whatever. That's it. I would like to thank the aid obtained in the Descartes and also the vehicle projects that allow us to make some progress, and also Soliter, the company Soliter, that actually help us to carry out the pyrolysis process to use enough amounts for our desulfurization process of our projects. That's all. Thank you so much for your attention.